Today we're gonna cut the crap. There's new prattle about Toyota Tacoma manual transmissions failing, and that is not true.
But Wilma, I heard that the Tacoma with its 6-speed manual transmission is breaking. It's all bad. Toyota transmissions are failing and it's no good. I heard that too, Betty. The manual transmission in the new Tacoma is no good. They're breaking.
This is known as the RC60F ASIN manual 6-speed transmission in your 24 Toyota Tacoma. And guess what? It's been around for 10 years now. That's right. This thing is a tried and true manual transmission that's been around for a decade. What some Americans think is a new manual 6-speed transmission is not new at all. This is what the world knows as the Toyota pickup truck. Not the Tacoma, but the Toyota Hilux. And since 2015, this Toyota Hilux has used the RC60 6-speed manual transmission. For about a decade now, this thing, which is all over the world, this is the world's pickup truck, has been using that 6-speed transmission. It's tried and true. Now, if you're in the world market, you don't need an introduction to the Toyota Hilux or the RC60F 6-speed manual transmission. Because to you, you know that that's a tank of a manual transmission, and it's used around the world in all sorts of third world and first world countries on every continent except North America. And it's tried and true. It is a battle axe of a manual transmission, and it is by now, after a decade of being on the road and abused by everybody on every continent except one, it has been proven to be reliable. The RC60F transmission, which of course is made by ASIN, Toyota's best in the world transmission supplier of both manual and automatic transmissions, is designed to be a 4-wheel drive transmission. And the applications, as we see here, are in the Hilux. That's the world market Toyota Tacoma to Americans. And the Fortuner, however you want to say it, that's the world market 4Runner. And as you can see here, it's also now in the Toyota Tacoma. So it's in the 2.4 gasoline turbo only from 2024 model year. So basically, this is the transmission in question. But as you can see here, this same transmission that people now are fear-mongering that the sky's falling and Toyota's new transmission is blowing up in their Tacoma, it's not new. 2015 is the truth. 2015 is the truth. 2015 is the truth. I'm saying this a bunch of times because that's how silly this is. It's not a new transmission. It's been around for a decade, and it's already been proven on these two leading world-class trucks here. Again, this is what the world uses, despite what you heard, despite what you think. In the world outside of the bubble of America, these are the two trucks that actually get stuff done and have to live a rough life in the real world. Now, my point of that rambling is that the Hilux is a rough and tumble truck. You know, I know people in America think, oh, Tacoma, blah. It's an American thing, and again, in the rest of the world, this is what pickup truck drivers thrash around. And my point in pointing that out is that Toyota is obliged to put a very durable transmission inside of these Hilux and Fortuner vehicles, or however you say it. But the Hilux, they got to put good, long-lasting, reliable transmissions in these Hiluxes, and they did. And again, it's now 10 years old. The RC60F transmission inside of your manual Tacoma Again, in the Hilux, originally went into a 2.4 liter turbo diesel four-cylinder engine. So the engines and power outputs are very similar, but this thing was mated to a diesel for the past 10 years.
That's all good, but I heard that on the Hilux, the engine made less torque and horsepower, so that's why it was okay for the Hilux, but it's not good for the new Tacoma because the Tacoma has a turbocharged gasoline engine, and the gasoline engine makes more horsepower, and that's why it's gonna break on these new Tacomas. Toyota didn't put the right transmission because it can't handle increased pressures and loads of the new.
That's right, Albert. I heard the same thing. That's right, Betty.
So the 2.4 diesel turbo in the Hilux makes something like 295 foot-pounds of torque. And the new Tacoma with its manual transmission is supposed to make closer to 310 horsepower. So these numbers are close, but they're by no means, it's not double the torque or double the horsepower that the Hilux was using. So these numbers are very close here. Furthermore, it makes no logical sense, and there is no evidence that the RC60F transmission cannot handle 310 foot-pounds of torque that's in the Tacoma. So it's very unlikely that the engineers would decide, Toyota engineers at that, to slap a 10-year-old proven manual transmission in their new Tacoma if it wasn't able to handle the stresses and pressures and forces put on it. That's what engineers sit around and do all day. They make sure that this thing is going to work in the Tacoma and it can handle the loads. But again, as stated, there's not that much difference between the 295, let's just round it up to 300 foot-pounds of torque, and 310 foot-pounds of torque. So, for all intents and purposes, unless there's any objective evidence this thing is blowing up with an extra 30 foot-pounds of torque added to it, we have to assume and presume and deduce that this transmission here can handle being in a Tacoma. So I wanted to make this video to squash the prattle and unsubstantiated, uneducated nonsense before it even gets started. These things are absolute workhorses, and when I say these things, I mean the transmission inside, the manual transmission in question that's now inside your Tacoma, that have existed for the past decade inside these world market workhorses known as Toyota Hiluxes. These things are proven reliable. So therefore, if Toyota's having some sort of issue right now with a few statistically irrelevant number of Tacoma manual transmissions, and they are statistically irrelevant because manual transmission Tacomas are sold in the thousands, and the anecdotes online of so-called failures are about 1 to 3 maximum. That's being generous. But if you be generous and just call it 3 failures of manual transmissions, this transmission that's been in this Hilux for the past decade, it's statistically irrelevant. So what happened? If there's a video, one video out of 1,000 of these transmissions in the United States, and out of hundreds of thousands of these transmissions in the world market. Let me say that again to make this statistically relevant. This transmission that you're looking at that failed, in quotations, in a 24 Tacoma, there are hundreds of thousands of these around the world that have not failed in the past decade. Think about that for a second. So what's happening is probably some sort of manufacturing hiccup or error. In other words, it just happens. You got a bad one, you got a lemon, you got a dud, whatever you want to call it, out of the zillions that come out of the factory at Asen. It's inside of warranty. There's not even 1,000 miles on this thing allegedly, so it goes right back out to Toyota, and they slap a brand new one in, and they extend the warranty, and it's over. You go on for the next decade like all the other Hilux drivers have. I can't even get into the number of Hiluxes sold. But just to paint a picture, total over 17.7 million. And I'm not going to bombard you here with stats. The point is, there's a lot sold. Don't tell me not all of these are the same engine and the same 4x4 or 4x2, whatever. The point is that a lot of these 4x4 Hiluxes with this transmission in question have been sold. This is just one random snapshot of a year. It's not some sort of deep dive search. The point is the transmission's been on the road for hundreds of thousands of miles now without issue. So when you hear stories about manual transmission Tacomas failing, you have to take it with a grain of fear-mongering salt. Completely statistically irrelevant, especially in the light of the history and proven reliability and durability of this transmission. The only argument someone's going to make for this decade-old transmission having issues in the new Tacoma is some sort of increased power type of argument, as mentioned earlier. The new Tacoma is so much more powerful with an extra 30 or so foot-pounds of torque that it's blowing this thing up. But the fact is, Toyota put this thing on a dyno and tortured it and tested it to death for millions of miles before this ever saw the light of day on a showroom. So if you have a manual transmission Toyota Tacoma with this RC60F transmission, yes, the gear ratios are the same as in the Hilux that had this too. That's not the issue. Keep in mind, if you have this transmission, you have nothing to worry about, period. Despite what you heard, despite the prattle doesn't make it any more true. What makes things true are the facts. You have an old, relatively speaking, this day and age, tried and true transmission in the world market, slapped inside of your new Tacoma. You're fine. You're good to go. There's zero worry. None. Absolutely none. It's completely unfounded, unsubstantiated, and completely illogical. But worst case scenario, if you did have one of these blow up on you, it's within warranty. That's why powertrain warranties exist. And Toyota has nothing to gain by making your manual transmission break inside of warranty. That means they're obligated under law to give you a brand spanking new one and extend your warranty. So it is just prattle. Prattle. This transmission is in more vehicles right now on the road being thrashed and abused than you can imagine. You have nothing to worry about.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. street, you got one